Coming up on this episode of the runningrestaurants.com podcast, I interview Rev Ciancio of Branded Strategic Hospitality. We have a great talk about marketing. We hit on first-party takeout and delivery ordering versus third-party, good stuff there, database building, email, and social frequency. And we also walk through a bunch of successful case studies that he's worked on. So you do not want to miss this. Check it out. All right. Welcome to the runningrestaurants.com podcast, where we bring you the tips, tools, and techniques you need to make your restaurant more profitable and successful. I'm your host, Jamie Oikel, and today we got a great episode featuring David Rev Ciancio of Branded Strategic Hospitality. David does a whole bunch of stuff, so we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, but the focus is going to be restaurant marketing, which I really look forward to. It's one of the things I love the most to talk about. So why don't I just ask you this question, and we'll dig into this piece. We'll go to some examples later. We'll talk about your background. But if you had 60 seconds to grab the attention of a restaurant owner today in this marketplace with what's going on, and that's all you had, 60 seconds, what kind of quick tips would you share, man?
I would tell them two things. Number one, okay, you need to break the chokehold of the third-party delivery apps, right? You got to get your customers ordering from you directly. For the obvious reason of paying high commissions sucks, but also you need to get control of your customer's journey. And this leads into the second one, is you have to be building a database of your customers, and you have to be regularly communicating with them. And I know you've had Matt Platt on here. Matt Platt would tell you the same thing. Mm-hmm. But I think you need to have multi-channel communication, right? So it can't just be email. It can't just be Instagram. It can't just be whatever you're using. You have to be hitting customers everywhere they interact with your brand.
Yeah, listen.
That's 60 seconds. Did we get there?
I think you might have snuck in there. Absolutely. Listen. I echo all that stuff 100%, and we're going to unpack some of that stuff. But I just wanted folks to understand some high overview stuff. That is definitely good high stuff. That if you're not doing, if you feel like you're not doing delivery right, we're going to talk about a lot of that today. If you don't have a database, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to kind of go unscripted here and chat about stuff. But background for you. Been in the restaurant business yourself or an owner? Tell me about that.
So I'm a former New York City bar owner. We were pretty bad at operations, if I'm being honest, but we were really, really good at marketing. And in fact, what happened, even while I still own the place, is other operators would call me and be like, dude, how did you get so many followers on Facebook? Like, oh my God, how was your Yelp? How come you have so many 5-star Yelp reviews? Like, how'd you guys build such a great email database? Like, I just had a knack for it. I came from the music business, and so I just treated the bar like it was releasing a new album. And so I just learned a whole lot about marketer. And I learned something really important. They don't call them restaurant marketers. They call them restaurant operators, right? Because they're not good at marketing. And so I learned that my skill set was, I'm really good at restaurant marketing, so why don't I just go do that and help as many restaurants as I can?
Yeah. Absolutely. A couple things there. So when you operated the restaurant, you said you were a bad operator. Did that mean your margin sucked and you were selling so much damn alcohol that it still worked out anyways? Did it come down to that? And finally, did you learn some lessons about the operation side, or what happened?
Yeah, no, and I half joke. The truth is, the reason we lost that business is we had a bad partnership. So just quick background, we owned a 2-story bar. There was a ground level bar and a basement bar. And me and my 2 buddies operated the basement bar, and 3 other guys had the ground floor bar. Now, as far as New York City is concerned, it's 1 SLA license. And as far as a landlord was considered, it's one lease, right? We separated the business into 2 floors. The guys upstairs ran the business so horribly, they got $200,000 in debt and didn't tell us until they were desperate. Right now, because we had 1 lease and 1 license, essentially it becomes our problem. Right. When they threw their hands up and said, we don't know what to do, we were stuck. So we spent another year, the guys downstairs, trying to dig them out of the $200,000 to no avail. Yeah. And we essentially sold the business at a loss, and I actually still owe money on it, which freaking sucks. But we were actually pretty good. We were about to make money at the Rathskeller, the downstairs bar, but we had a bad partnership, and the guys upstairs were so bad that it just screwed the pooch.
Yeah, man, that's a bummer story. But yeah, listen, probably
I'm not the only person to have that story in this business. You know what I mean?
What I'm thinking. I'm thinking that people are listening, going, "Oh, that sounds a little bit familiar." Partnership that didn't work out and losing money and so forth. But real question before we get into the marketing stuff, I'm curious on the music side. You say background in music. Did you play? Did you have bands? Did you just promote stuff?
Those who don't play manage, and that's what I did. So I was an artist manager and an
Yeah.
agency owner for about 11 years.
Oh shoot. All
So
right.
I did own a bass guitar. One day I got rid of it because I realized I didn't know what to do with it. But I was an artist manager.
Well, you could probably still look cool holding it at least, man. Hopefully. All right. Well, let's get into marketing. You definitely hang your hat and talk a lot about this third party stuff. So let's start there. COVID. We're sitting here in May 2021. COVID's been over a year now. People have learned a lot about takeout delivery. What they didn't know 14, 16 months ago. I don't need to do it. Of course, everyone decided they needed to do takeout. They needed to delivery. They quickly got on apps. They did this. They made money, lost money, etc. People had to do it. They had to learn. And now I think we've learned enough to know that there's certain things that you should do and certain things you shouldn't do. And you know a lot more about this stuff than me. I'll kind of let you go and I'll probe in with questions along the way. What do folks need to know to get delivery in their control where it's actually profitable and so forth?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you how I learned it, right? So prior to the pandemic, just like you said, some people were like, I don't care. I do care. It's a pain. I don't like it, whatever. Like we didn't quite have the pain, right? Yeah. Pandemic hits and now we live in this totally off premise universe and and pickup is everything, right? And so we were forced to use these third parties and we were forced to start doing delivery. And what happens when you start doing a high volume of something that costs you a lot, you're like, I got to reduce the costs, right? And because the third party basically owns the customer journey, meaning they have all the contact data, you can't remarket to that customer, right? There's no way for you to drive a second trip. Well, this is the restaurant business. This is all about return trips, right? It's not like siding you buy for your house once, or you make like a decision to get car insurance every 10 years. Restaurant, you want to drive frequency. But anyway, February of last year, I was the CMO for a software company and I got let go. Basically, they were owned by TripAdvisor and TripAdvisor was feeling the pain of the pandemic before we really were in the shores of America because global travel company. My boss had to let go 60% of the staff that day and I got let go. So as I was at my desk, I'm packing my bags, starting to have the freak out. Like, what am I going to do? I got mortgage and a wife and healthcare and yada. I called a buddy of mine named Robert who owns a bunch of restaurants in New York City. And I was like, dude, I just got let go. Are you looking for any help? And he was like, yes, can you be here in an hour? Okay. And so I still have I cleaned out my groceries from the corporate fridge and I literally took my groceries to his office. And anyway, at the time, 20% of his orders were coming through first party, meaning they were coming through his website, and 80% were coming through Grubhub, right? It's a lot of commission to pay. You know what I mean? And he's like, figure this out for me. Like, help me get more. And some other marketing stuff. And then the pandemic hit like 2 weeks later and he was like, I'm bleeding. Please help me. So it was in that moment that I made it my mission to help him get more first party orders. And through a ton of trial and error, like, let's try this, let's try that, let's spend this money, let's try a Yelp ad, let's try this thing, let's this message. And calling literally everybody I know in the business. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? We success modeled. Well, it took us 3 or 4 or 5 months, but we figured out a way. Right? We stumbled our way into figuring out how to take him from 20% orders coming through Grubhub to 20% first party to 40%. He literally doubled the amount of orders that come directly to him, right? And what we were able to do then is increase retention. Mm-hmm. So once we got people to convert from Grubhub to ordering direct, we could actually increase their order frequency. So then, like, we don't really care about Grubhub because we know 2 things are going to happen, right? Number one, you're going to order from Grubhub one time. Then you're going to order from his restaurant, and then we're going to get you to order again. And the second piece is we're going to get you to order more frequently. So, like, now we love Grubhub. Now we think they're amazing because it's a source of acquisition, and we just look at it as a cost. You know what I mean?
All right. So you just talked about something that like everybody, not everybody, but tons of restaurant owners have gone through that same mental thought process, right? Nobody likes doing something where when the box leaves the building, they're like, oh shoot, there goes another $4 that I just lost by serving a customer. Cause some of these commissions are crazy, that you have to deal with. But if you do look at it from what the story you just told, the acquisition side, okay, fine. And now they're my customer. Walk me through the difference in that first party order profit wise, say they order the same darn thing, for sake of argument, same darn thing versus the app. How much of a difference is it for the bottom line?
Well, as you know me a little bit more, if you ever attend any of my webinars or my trainings, I talk about how bad I am at math because I'm really bad at math, right? But we did figure this out. And essentially, like for a Manhattan restaurant, your average order is like $37, right? If you're paying 30% commission, I think that's $11, right? Oh. And so if somebody does a $37 offer and 11 goes to Grubhub, right? You recover that on the next one. You've got $11 back in your pocket, right? Your cost of acquisition there was $11, but because you didn't have to pay it, it's almost a net. It's a net, right? If they order a second time, like now you're into super profitability and now you got to look at LTV, right? So like if I get you to order from Grubhub once and I pay $11 for that, I get you to order directly next time, I didn't have to sacrifice the 11, so I'm net equal, right? I order one more time, I'm positive $11 plus whatever my margin is. So that 11 is just the recovered fees. Does that make sense?
A little bit. You know, the one thing I'm thinking about is, there's fees to using a third party. There's obviously some inherent costs in having a first party solution because you have, I don't know, somebody's software and a service thing that costs, I'm just make up a number, $59 a month plus X dollars in order, much smaller, I'm sure. But how do you factor those costs into the equation? Are they insignificant in comparison or what?
Yeah, it's certainly not an apples to apples equation. It's important, right? But like everything's a cost, right? I had to buy a shirt to be on a Zoom call, like, you know, it's part of operation.
You did. Yeah, thank you for doing that, by the way.
You're very welcome. Like it's part of the problem. Where it is operators look at it cost the wrong way. Okay, having online ordering, having your own, some people just call it an OLO, right? Should be seen as an operational cost, right? It shouldn't, or an operational investment. Right? Like I have to do this. It's like you can't own a pizza shop without having a pizza oven, right? Well, you can't own a restaurant in 2021 and beyond without online ordering. You know what I mean? And you certainly can't own a restaurant moving on if you don't have the customer data. And you certainly can't own a restaurant without doing marketing and advertising. Like you just have to look at these things in an investment. Like I can't wash dishes if I don't have a sink. I can't take orders if I don't have an online ordering platform. So, you know, do you need to look at the cost? Yeah, of course you do, because there's different solutions you could choose. So you need a solution that works with your cost structure. Yes, right? And for sure, something like a lunchbox or an Olo is way more expensive than like a Chow Now or a Toast. But, you know, pick the solution that works with your pricing model, but you got to have one.
Sure. Question for you, because there's a litany of tools out there. There was before, and now there is now, because it's obviously doing very well, and they're getting seed capital and angel capital and all that fun stuff. And so that's expanding. And in fact, I was looking at one of your articles somewhere talking about the darn third parties who, speaking of financing money, they were making so much money, raising so much money and just willing to lose it to get market share, that just hurting the restaurants and stuff. So we won't get into that really, but that is a kind of fascinating aspect to look at. But let's stay here for a little bit more, and then we'll move to something else. But so first party, third party, you learned it at your buddy's restaurant, figured it out. I know we haven't talked about it too much, but I know you help other restaurants with that. Whether it's what do you call it, a boot camp? You have a program. Like, how much learning does it take to get good at this?
So, you know, I learned it with my buddy Rob, but then I tried it out with 5 or 6 other restaurants, and Jamie, it worked for everybody. Like it didn't matter the size of the restaurant, didn't matter the service type, fine dining, on-premise, off-premise, QSR, pizza, coffee, donut, it worked for everybody, right? So I turned it into an online course where I was like, if you have that kind of information, you have to share it. You know what I mean? Like if you can help people out, you got to help them. So I was like, look, I'm going to turn this into a thing where like for a couple $100, I'm going to show you the whole thing. It's priced right now that you could basically make your money back in 20 orders. If you convert 20 people, that's like 1 day's worth of orders in a restaurant. You'll pay for the learning. And you ask, how quickly can you learn it? The boot camp is designed to be 6 weeks, 45 days, right? And some people will see return in the first week alone, right? And the reason it's 6 weeks, it's not 1 hour, is like, there's a lot, man. Yeah. There's a lot to learn, but I break it down into like little 5-minute lessons or 7-minute lessons. So like you're a restaurant operator, you're like, I got a half hour today. Like, cool, jump into the boot camp, take 2 or 3 of the lessons. There's a private Facebook group. You can ask me questions later, and you go at your own pace. But 6 weeks and you can see 100% lift in first party orders. It's insane.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to it. We'll might circle back to it, but if we don't, where do people go to find out info on that one?
So it's not publicly available. That's the fun part, right?
I didn't know that.
So yeah, you can't just go buy it. So I do like a weekly webinar where I basically for free teach you all of all the strategies. Like, here's the things you need to know. And then at the end of the webinar, if you're like, yes, I want to do this, I give you what the link is to go sign up and be a member of it. But the webinar is free. So
tell them where to find the webinar, man.
It's restaurantsgrow.com/stop third party. So it's restaurantsgrow.com/stop third party. Okay. And if the link's broken, find me on any social media network.
Yeah, this dude's out there. He's easy to find. You'll find him. You'll find him out there.
I like to tell people I kill a lot of cyber trees with my internet footprint. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So yeah, we chatted the other day, and as I go to pull up his information, he's live on this platform and that platform and doing that stuff, talking with people. So you're definitely out there. Tell me about that aspect. I know you create content yourself, interviewing folks. What are you trying to do when you go live? I mean, are you just sharing stories, looking for tips? What's that like?
I mean, ultimately, I'm a bit of a nerd, if you couldn't tell by a pineapple Hawaiian shirt, and a Blink 182 poster. But I like to learn. Like, I really like to learn, and I figure there's so many people out there that have better knowledge than I do. The only way to get it is to ask questions, right? And so, like, today I did a LinkedIn Live with Liz Basner from A&W Restaurants. Like, I'm hoping she's got information everybody can learn, but really I'm just trying to learn, right? Because then ultimately, like, I'm trying to be the guy that has information that can help you, And so, going live or even talking to you, I'm like, what do you know that I don't know? Like, what other information can I gather that's going to help either a current or future client of mine to be more successful? I mean, my motivation in this, Jamie, is probably not different than yours. I like restaurants. I like going out to eat. I'm a guest.
There you go.
If I can go out there and I can elevate the experience that a restaurant delivers to their guests, then we're all going to have better restaurant experience. Doesn't that sound awesome?
That sounds awesome. Yeah, that's exactly right. No, and I mean, for me, I'm in much the same boat. Just listening and sharing and trying to give folks the tips they can do to keep doing what they're doing. And as we're learning through this, it's as we know, we've been doing it for over 20 years now. It's the hardest business on the planet. Period. End of story. We don't have to talk about it any longer. It's just ridiculously hard to run a profitable restaurant. It's amazingly that this many people even try to do it. They sign up for it. Like, let me go do that. It's not.
It's a low barrier for entry for business. I mean, any Tom, Dick, or Harry can go start a pizza shop. You know what I mean? Like, it's not hard. I actually feel bad for restaurateurs that get taken advantage of, who are in that scenario, that are like, oh, I make the best chili in town. Everybody says I should start a restaurant, and they do, and like, don't have the education or the chops to do it. And the landlord just takes their money. Like, I hate that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's so many things that is not going to work out. There's so much. Let's kind of play with this a little bit. I'll jump out to Dave shared a couple of links with me. Let's see if it works.
For those of you joining, Jamie's like, what do you want to talk about? I was like, I have a vast array of things that I'm excited about. I was like, why don't I send you a couple of case studies or stories of things that my customers have done, maybe inspire somebody else to do something too. So
yeah, 100%. So he sent me a couple of links. We'll look at a couple of them here. Here's one of them. I guess it looks like this one's obviously posted on LinkedIn. You're talking about this one was a pizzeria that did something. Oh, this was the garlic knots contest one. What walk us through a little bit.
So this is great. I mean, and literally the headline is how to create a 352% increase in sales for a high profit margin order add-on. What restaurant doesn't want that? If you normally order, a pizza and wings and soda and a salad, like, let's get you to order one more item. And that's what it was. My client here, Alan, who owns a really cool pizzeria in San Antonio, came to me and says, Rev, I got these cheesy garlic knots. Like, they're $8. People love them. If I could sell more of these, my average order would go up. Instead of, I think his average order is $31. He's like, if this would bring it to 35. Like, that would mean that means so much to my business, and it's an item people love. He said, how do we get more people to buy these cheesy garlic knots? And the obvious answer is, well, you have to promote them, right? But we did something really cool, right? So April's National Garlic Month. And I said, why don't we do this? Why don't we choose that as the month to promote them? So like we can use it as a theme, right? It's some, hashtag holiday. It's a reason to post to social media. And he said, okay, cool. What do you want to do? I said, why don't we do this? Let's drop the price. We'll have an introductory price, not on like discounts. That's why we call it an introductory price. So we let people know that they're $5 for this month only, and then they're going to go up. So we, instead of saying these are $5, we said, we're giving you a break. You're going to pay more later. So it's not messaged as a discount, right? And then we promoted it with a weekly email blast and multiple social media posts, right? Now that alone would raise your average order value, but that we don't do things the simple, easy way here, okay? I said to him, let's end the month with a cheesy garlic knot eating contest. And every time we message about them, we'll tell people, hey, cheesy garlic knots are $5 for the month for National Garlic Month. And on the 28th, sign up here if you think you can eat a tray of garlic knots faster than anybody else, and we're going to have a contest live on Facebook. So we had double call to action, which was sign up for this thing and order the knots. And he had 28 customers, believe it or not, that said, I can eat a tray of cheesy garlic knots faster than anybody else. We had to pick, 23 customers. So we picked 5 and we went live on Facebook. And if you scroll down, you see a screenshot of it. But we went live on Facebook for 10 minutes. Hosted a cheesy garlic knot eating contest. I haven't looked at this in a couple of days, but it got 11,000 people reached in his town. Okay, think about that. I don't know who's listening to this or where your restaurant is, but if you could reach 11,000 people with a Facebook post that you didn't pay for, would you or would you not be excited? Okay, so we had 11,000 people reached. Okay, we had 1,100 engagements, people saying that's cool, that's awesome, that's whatever. Okay. And the bottom line here is, if we looked at March versus April, right, we had a 352% increase in the sales of that item. Jamie, this cost us nothing. We didn't buy any ads. We didn't have to go out of our way to do. We gave people a couple of t-shirts and promoted a couple of things online. So Alan calls me last night, and by the way, you'll see I tagged Matt Plapp in there because Matt Plapp helping us build that customer database.
Yeah,
right?
gotta do that. Yeah.
But Alan texted me last night. He's like, we're doing an eating contest every month. Okay. He wants to do a pizza eating contest for Father's Day. I was like, listen, I'm willing to go bad at this again. Let's try it. The point is,
just hope that listen, careful around July. Don't do hot dogs. That Joey Chestnut guy will come in and just wreck everybody.
By the way, I've judged that. I was a judge for that contest. That was a bucket list item for me, was to judge the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, and I did it. It was sick. Oh my gosh. It was so much fun. Anyway, that's a pattern interrupt.
Funny.
But the point is here, right? How many pizza places are in your town, or how many restaurant competitors are where near your restaurant is? Okay. Every single one of them could be like, hey, it's National French Fry Day. Eat our French fries. Like, you're not really differentiating yourself. You're not really making something special, right? And, there are other pizza places in San Antonio where Alan's restaurant is, right? But none of them went to this extent to promote National Garlic Month, right? Nobody. He made himself stand out by doing something really unique. And it wasn't that hard. It didn't really take us that much time. And the results were ridiculous. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're a restaurant, be entertaining, Yeah,
I like examples like this because nobody can point to this and say, oh, I can't do that. Like there's nothing in that sequence that you couldn't do. It takes a little bit of work, a little bit of creativity, and you can absolutely pull that off. And
it was 4 social media posts, 5 email blasts. That was it. That was all the marketing effort that went into this.
How do you, man, my little Zoom thing is in the way of where I want to click. How do I move that darn thing?
Oh, you got to slide it down, I think. Like if you grab it and pull it down.
It's moved. All right, let me click on another thing. All right.
This one's awesome.
Talk about burgers? Yeah, go for it.
This one's awesome. So again, headline, how would you like to earn an extra $700 in 6 months for your restaurant for doing 6 minutes of work? Okay. There's a thing called a Google post. Okay, so if you go to your Google My Business listing for your restaurant, you can put little announcements on the bottom, right? Like you would write a tweet or you would write an Instagram post. You can post it there. But the thing is, they're clickable, right? So you can write this little post that says, hey, our special for the month is these cheesy garlic knots or whatever, okay? But here's what we did. 5 Napkin Burger, 4 locations in New York City. The super smart people behind this brand, super smart and really passionate about food and customer. They're amazing. But what we did is we took a first-time offer code. So somebody who's never ordered online from the restaurant before, we created a unique code like Google Code 1, whatever, right? Anybody that ended up on our Google My Business profile and clicked on one of those posts, in there it said, never ordered from 5 Napkin before, use this code for 15% off your first order. Now again, I don't love discounts, but we told them you only get it one time, right? So it's not really a discount, it's an acquisition play, right? Creating those Google My Business posts took us, I think, maybe even 4 minutes. It was 2 minutes to create the code and 4 minutes to put, hey, first time from order, blah, blah, blah. And we put them up, and then you know what we do? Walk away. Set it and forget it. We leave those posts up and we don't touch them. And in the month of March, those posts that took us 5 minutes to create generated $700, right? Now, you're like, Rev, what about the discount? We did the math. We made $536 order profit on these. Right? Still, $536 for 5 minutes of work. Man, how do I get paid that kind of hourly rate all the time? You know what I mean? 100%. Super easy.
And by the way, this looks like a pretty delicious burger.
Oh, that's their pimento cheeseburger. It's they're doing a different burger for each month of National Hamburger Month, and that's the specialty for the 3rd week. It's delicious.
I think it's delicious. Let's do 1 or 2 more real quick. I don't know what sequence they're in here. This one. Does this look familiar to you? What do you got here?
Yeah, this is another fun one. So like restaurateurs are afraid to like market. I have no idea why. If somebody follows you on social media or somebody gives you their email address for a database, you're allowed to send them as much marketing as you want until they unsubscribe, right? They said, I love your brand. Send me more information. This is a really cool one. So similar idea. They're like, what can we try? What can we do to drive revenue? And I was like, I have an idea. And I got this idea from Russell Brunson. I don't know if you're Russell, but Russell told me that a restaurant did this. And I said, we're going to try it. We sent an email every single day for a week. Every single day. Do you know any restaurants that email you every day?
They don't do it. Yeah.
Okay. It took a ton of convincing. I was like, we got to try. Here's what it was. We sent an email Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every day, 4:00. Okay. The subject was, what can we get you for dinner? Okay. And the email, I kid you not, Jamie, it was the exact same email every single day. What can we get you for dinner? And then on the inside, it said, do you want us to eat with us or do you want to pick it up on your way home? Mm-hmm. There was a button to make a reservation and a button to order ahead. That's it. Okay. Monday was a picture of a burger. Tuesday was French fries. I don't remember what they all were. But essentially, the only thing that changed was an image. Mm-hmm. How many images do you have for your restaurant already, right? So we basically replicated it, and we sent it every day for 7 days. We drove $1.25 in revenue for every single subscriber. It was insane, right? Now you're like, I'm afraid to email my guests that much. You know what our unsubscribe rate was for that week? Less than 1%.
Right.
0.74%. Do you think we're still emailing guests for this restaurant? You bet your ass. Pardon my apology. We email 3 times more frequently than we used to before this because we know exactly how much we can actually calculate the amount of revenue that we're going to drive by sending an email now. If you knew that you're going to put $1 into a slot machine and get $6 back, how many dollars would you put in the slot machine and how often would you do it?
You would keep doing it as often as you could until somebody pulled you away from the machine. 100%.
Email your guests, man. Oh my God. And here, I'll give you another tip. None of these case studies will tell you this one. Most marketers or restaurant operators think, hey, I'm going to email you on Monday about my pizza shop because I'm going to try to that's the day I'm not busy, right? So let me get you to order a pizza. Well, here's the thing. Jamie, do you eat pizza on Mondays?
If I did, it was random. I mean, yeah.
Most people don't, right? By me asking you to buy a pizza on a day you're not buying a pizza, I'm asking you to switch a habit. That's a big ask, right? Jamie, do you ever order a pizza on a Friday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how many pizza places are in your town?
Like a zillion or a zillion and a
Right.
half.
So wouldn't it be smarter if I emailed you on the day you were gonna order a pizza and get you to order mine instead of somebody else's? Right? You should not be emailing people on Mondays trying to get them to order pizza. You should email them on a Friday or a Saturday. So to make sure that when they do want a pizza, they pick you, right? And the
Yeah.
same goes for opposite. If you're a salad place, email me about salads on Monday. Like, you know,
Yeah. Right.
put, remove you want to basically go where the money is. Totally a boss move.
I made two notes here. One, it's okay to cuss. Don't feel bad if you do that. Don't hold back. That's fine.
Thank you.
Two, I want to talk about social platforms because you referenced a few. I think I know the answer. You're going to say use them all, use as many as you can. But any learnings there that you want to share? Like, hey, do this on Facebook. Hey, Twitter this, Instagram that, LinkedIn that, YouTube that. Like, should people just be as many places as they can? What do you think?
No,
Focus a little
you
bit.
should be using the platforms that you have the ability to update with frequency, or consistency is a better word, right? So if you can update Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok, LinkedIn, Google My Business, Facebook, and Instagram every other day, every week, then do all of those. If you only have the ability to update Instagram every other day, then just do that. Like, pick the one or two or three that you can be consistent with and stick with those, right? You do not need to be everywhere. Now, you do need to manage your presence everywhere, right? So you do need to be managing your name, address, phone number, hours of operation, menu, and photos everywhere. That Google, Bing, Yahoo, Foursquare, TripAdvisor, Bing, blah, blah. And there's software that makes that super easy. That you do have to do, but you do not need to be active on every social media account.
Yeah, and listen, you talked about frequency with that aspect of the social platforms. Make sure you got a consistent pattern. You talked about frequency with email, and people are resistant to email more than once a week. Sometimes it's once a month. Oh, I can only do it once a month. If you look at the big brands, if I were to pull up my my email here, all the big brands are kind of annoying because they do send me something every single day. And I don't mean restaurant brands. I mean like kind of like retailers and stuff. Like that's kind of enough, but there's certain things like you're scared and yet I don't unsubscribe. So it's not pissing me off. I'm just waiting for the right time to take action. So don't be shy. If they're sick of you, they'll unsubscribe. And if they unsubscribe, it's probably not the best fit long-term. So that's definitely one way to look at it. Let's do one more and then we'll start to head. I don't know if you have a favorite. This is,
I love we're like restaurant marketing success roulette here. You're like, oh, let's pick a bullet. Okay, cool.
Looks like heart-shaped pizza. You want to talk about that one?
So
this something about January. What do you want to do? You want
go to the pizza one.
Pizza.
So this is a fun one. So I put out an ebook in February called "How to Sell a Ridiculous Amount of Heart-Shaped Pizza for Valentine's Day." Right? Again, this is one of those things. Like, sure, lots of pizza shops sell heart-shaped pizza, but like, how do you be the place that somebody chooses, right? So I put out a book. These are the 10 things. If you do these 10 things, you will sell a ridiculous amount of heart-shaped pizza. Now, we won't go through all of them you can just go get the ebook and read them. But there's examples of a couple restaurants that literally were like, okay, Rev, we're going to take your suggestion and we're going to roll with them. Cascarino's in Montgomery, New Jersey. I've actually never been here, but they actually tripled the amount of pizzas they'd sold from the year before. Tripled, right? By using the 10 things I said you should do. Ferrazzoli's, which is my local pizza spot. I love them. I talk about them all the time. They had an increase of 145% sold year over year, right? By the way, I think the picture on not the cover, but like the main story in the book is about Ferrazzoli. So that's how I learned this. We tested it out last year and it worked. And it's funny. Matt Ferrazzoli called me in January. He's like, are we doing it again? I was like, I'll be over today. So, and I was walking home from Ferrazzoli's and I was like, I need to teach this to all restaurants. I came home and I sat down and I wrote that book in 2 hours. Quincy, Massachusetts alumni. They did this. They literally jumped on this idea. Like, they got my book 2 days, I think like February 12th, and did what they could in 2 days, and with no effort sold 30 pizzas. Like, it was great, right? Again, and then Sophia's. This is the big winner here. Okay, Sophia's in San Antonio. They did every single thing I had in the book, word for word. Like, if it was in there, they did it. And I'm not trying to make myself look awesome. I was just like, look, I know these things work. They sold 500% more heart-shaped pizzas than the year before. It was like he literally like on certain days had to turn it off. He's like, I can't move. It's like I can't move fast enough to do these. So get that book.
Yeah. Well, all right. So is that if they find again, should they go to LinkedIn to grab this thing? Where do you get this? Oh, yeah, restaurantsgrow.com.
Just DM me and I'll send you the link. So that's the easiest way. But I think it's I think that it's like bit.ly/ hold on, I'll tell you. Oh, sorry, I don't have my keyboard plugged in because I have my mic plugged in.
No problemo. So, but anyway, find them online. Get that book. In fact, the last thing I have here, you talked about. Is this a brand new book? You were trying to tell me?
Yes.
Like the brand new.
Okay, hold on. So the link for that one is bit.ly, bit.ly.
Yeah.
/ pizza V Day, PIZZA, the letter V and DAY. So
Okay.
bit.ly / pizza V Day, and you can get that one. So
I'll try to overlay that on the video when we produce this sucker. Pizza V Day. Okay, gotcha. And then
this one,
what do we have here?
This one just came out. It's the same idea. How to sell a ridiculous amount of burgers for National Hamburger Day. The guide that can generate an 18% lift in business. So it's almost, honest to God, Jamie, it's almost the exact same book. I did like a find and replace a burger and pizza. Made a few adjustments for the holiday there. But same 5 napkin last year. We were in the middle of the pandemic. It's May. It doesn't look like restaurant dining rooms are opening up. We're like, we're like bleeding here. What are we going to do? Robert came to me. He's like, Rev, come up with something. And I was like, well, May is National Hamburger Month. And May 28th is National Hamburger Day. What can we do? And this guide will walk you through a step-by-step guide that we use to have an 18% one day left in business. And the thing is, like, Jamie, I know it says burgers on the cover, but it's a skeleton, right? It's a bullet points. You could do this for National French Fry Day. You could do it for, Peach Melba Day. That's a day. National Pfeffernuss Day, if you sell Pfeffernuss. I just like that word. It's a guide. It's an 11-step process. If you do all 11 things in that book, you will see a massive lift in your business around a hashtag holiday.
Well, it's a great, yeah, see, I'm looking at the graphic here that has the 11 steps. So cool. And is this thing, it's ebook, right? It's just a download and
well, if you want to send me the $30, I will print one out and send it to you. But you can save yourself the $30 and just go get it for free online.
There you go. There you go. Hey, some people like to touch stuff. I like to touch books every once in a while. It's fine.
I print them out for myself because I like to touch my own work. But
it's totally fine to do it. Well,
yeah.
Let me jump out there, and as we wrap, we hit on a lot. I mean, we could talk for friggin' 2 days about all this stuff because it's fun to talk about. Anything you want to share as we wrap up, whether it's going out to a book, and a last tip, something that you said, Jamie, why the hell didn't you bring that up? What do you think?
Well, look, this will resonate, I think, with you and probably a lot of your audience. Look, my life motto is this: be awesome at 2 things and outsource everything else, right? You cannot master everything. And especially as a restaurant operator, you can't be your bookkeeper and manage your employees and be the chef and do marketing. Like, you can't do all of those things. It's stupid. You'll never be successful. So if there's something that you know you need, right, and you can't figure it out, or you're not going to do as good a job as you need, get somebody to help you, right? There's a lot of people out there, even if you're just going to go buy a course or you're just going to ask for help. Like, don't think you have all the answers, and don't think you can do all the work. You hired a dishwasher, you should hire a marketer, right? You hired a cook, you should hire a bookkeeper. Like, outsource to the people or bring people in that can help you do the things that you're not ever going to be good at.
It's a good point, man. I know, especially in the restaurant business where we're like trying to save a little money here and there. It's like, oh, I'll do that. I'll get to that. And of course, we don't get to those things, and they don't get done, and they don't get done right. So a lot of awesome tips there. This guy is online. You can find him everywhere. David Rev Ciancio. David Rev Ciancio. He is out there, Branded Strategic Hospitality, as well as a few other places. He's on all the platforms. Grab the ebooks for sure. We'll put the links in the notes. We'll put the links right on kind of the screen when the episode is out to help get you to those places. Good stuff, man. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
For more great restaurant marketing and operations and service and people and tech tips, be sure to stay tuned to us here at runningrestaurants.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks, David.
Thank you.